What about what you've experienced since you moved here in those 7 years? Have you come under pressure from other governments under whose jurisdiction you don't fall, but to accommodate their demands?
Well, of course.
Freedom, what does it mean? We know that there are countries and territories that want to make sure that any information that's happening in their government, they don't want you to know about it. So, what is the best way for you not to know about this information? Well, the best way for you not to know about this information is for them to find ways to censor that information by any means necessary. So if you've been in the news, if you've been watching any news, if you've been awake for the last 24 to even 48 hours at this point, you know that the founder of Telegram has been arrested. It's being held in custody by the French, which, from what I understand, may be an ally to the United States. And the United States have tried to get control or even backdoor to the Telegram app so they can find out what are people talking about on this app. So the app has over 900 million users already. It is slated to have over 1 billion by 2025, and it is at least top 10, give or take, depending on what you believe to be in the top 5 for the best social media apps in the world. Okay, Telegram is up there. So when you have someone like Pavel Durov being arrested by the French, is that really freedom? What does freedom really mean? My name is Andrew Alliance, and in this channel I'll talk about news and things that intrigue me, and this is definitely intriguing to me for an app that I've been using for quite some time now. I left WhatsApp to use the Telegram app, and I've never looked back. It is an amazing application. And yes, I do understand that people use it for different things. People use it to talk to their friends, or maybe their family members, or maybe they may use it for a plug. Whatever you use Telegram for, it could be positive or not so positive depending on your activities. But if you're trying to figure out the best ways not to have people express themselves on the app, because you want to control what they say, then you may be a dictator in some way, shape, or form. Or your government may be a dictatorship in some way, shape, or form. I don't know, however you want to take that. But it is very interesting to watch someone who just had an interview fairly recently with Tucker Carlson, specifically mentioning that governments have tried to backdoor his app because he is not trying to be in cahoots with any government. Okay, let's make that clear. He left Russia because they were trying to figure out, if they could have access to some degree to the app. He left Russia to find a place where the app can be free and the freedom of expression on the app can take place without any hindrances or any held up in any way, shape, or form by any government. Now, you would think it would be the Russian government that would say, hey, because you're leaving this country and you don't want us to have access to this app, we should arrest you because of that. But no. It wasn't the Russian government. It was the French that decided to arrest Pavel Durov. I guess my hope here at some point that people actually wake up when you see things like this take place. Freedom is not free. And if you say something crazy and someone retaliates, you don't get to control how they retaliate because of what you said that was potentially crazy, that is potentially offensive, or whatever it is. You don't get to control that, right? So now we have this article here from Reuters, depending on how you want to say that. Telegram messaging app CEO Durov arrested in France. This is August 24th. 2024 at 8:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So now we have here Pavel Durov, billionaire founder and CEO of the Telegram messaging app, was arrested at the Bourget airport outside Paris on Saturday evening. TF1 TV and BFM TV said, citing unnamed sources. Telegram, particularly influential in Russia, Ukraine, and the republics of former Soviet Union, is ranked as one of the major social media platforms after Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, and WeChat. All right, so if you look here, it says based in Dubai now. Telegram was founded by Russian-born Durov. He left Russia, as I was saying earlier, in 2014 after refusing to comply with government demands. Okay, government's like, hey, we want to see what you have going on in your app. We don't know if we necessarily like that stuff. He's like, no, you're not going to see what's happening in my app. I want my app to remain free. I want the people to express themselves however they see fit to express themselves on my app. And they're like, oh, all right. Okay. Right? That's what I think happened, right? And it says here, to shut down opposition communities on his VK social media platform, which he sold, okay? Now it says Durov was traveling aboard his private jet, TF1 said on its website, adding he had been targeted by an arrest warrant in France as part of a preliminary police investigation. All right? TF1 and BFM both said the investigation was focused on a lack of moderators on Telegram and that police considered that this situation allowed criminal activity. All right? It's very broad statement. Criminal activity to go on undeterred on a messaging app. Now, who's the criminal? It's a great question. Criminal activity by who? By individuals? By groups they just don't want to follow the rules? Is it only those groups? Is it only people doing activities that they don't like? Or is it governments that they want to monitor on Telegram? It's a great question because it's not just people using the app. Governments are using the app as well. So now what are we policing? Are we trying to police or do a surveillance? Right? If we learn anything about surveillance, we can ask Snowden. Remember him? If we learn anything about documents that we should not have access to or should have access to, depending how you look at that, maybe we should ask Julian Assange. These individuals may be heroes to some and villains to others. That's just the way that works. So criminal activity by who? By who specifically, right? Great question. Telegram did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. The French Interior Ministry and police had no comment. After Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Telegram has become the main source of unfiltered and sometimes graphic and misleading content from both sides about the war and the politics surrounding the conflict. So the app is an amazing application. You could use it for whatever you want. And I think at the end of the day, when you introduce human beings into anything, you get the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's been the nature of human existence ever since human existence. Whether you want to say it was a big bang, or you want to say there is an intelligent design that exists that sees and monitors and serendipitous moments, or all the things that happen in our lives are like, wow, this doesn't make sense. But the math that would add up to make this situation take place at this exact time, at this exact day, was pretty profound. How does that even happen? Well, let us continue here. The app has become preferred means of communication for Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky and his officials. The Kremlin and the Russian government also use it to disseminate their news, right? So I think that at the end of the day, what does freedom really mean? If a government can come in and say, hey, we don't want this app here. If you're in a particular country or territory and they make sure you only listen to certain things and not other things. If governments and different organizations are removing access to certain documents or materials or books, and they don't want you to have access to those things, or they ban those things from your country and territory, what does that actually mean for freedom? Is it really free, or can you think for yourself? Or are they trying to put you in a position where you cannot critically think about anything? You just respond to emotion based on whatever glamorous speech that a government has prepared to get your attention and even your vote. And real quick, this is why we put together 12 rules for propaganda. You'll find a link in the description below. So what is freedom? Is it really free? Do you even care about this? That a gentleman, and I'm sure a team, created a wonderful messaging app for you to access information, share information privately, hopefully with good deeds and good intent, right? But we know that with human beings, we've seen all spectrums when it comes to good, bad, and ugly. And it doesn't matter what the app. This is not just a Telegram issue, right? We can point to Telegram and we could put Durov in jail for a couple of hours. From what I understand, he's facing 20 years. And if that's the case, because he chooses not to cooperate with any government to control his application, is that really freedom? I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please make sure you subscribe right here and check out this video right here. And until next time, take care.